Welcome to Whole Mindset Mastery. My name is T. With 3 days left until 2025, and this is a time when employees normally either have already sat down with their managers about the pay increase for the next year, or the managers are working on their reviews. I just want to talk about what a merit increase is. A merit increase is simply a cost of living increase. For some of you, it might be slightly higher than a cost of living than inflation. Some of you, your merit increase might be the same as inflation, or some of you might be just slightly below. I know it is a controversial statement, but I want you to understand that because that will allow you to increase your savings rate and avoid the lifestyle creep. I understood that several years back. That's why every merit increase that I received, I maxed out my employee stock purchase plan. And when I knew about investing, I started to distribute the extra money to different investment account, to different savings account. And I did that through payroll deduction, through payroll routing to different accounts. So the money never come to me. The net pay that comes on my paycheck is a guilt-free money that I can spend on necessities and wants. Before I go over why I made that bold statement, I just want to caution you guys to not get mad about it, to not get angry about it. As unfortunate is how companies across America are structured. And that's how pay raises have been for 26 years that I was in the workforce. It hasn't changed since then. I always talk a lot about control the controllable on this channel. You can't control what the government policy is going to be. You can't control how companies pay employees. The best you can do is understand it and see what you can do to leverage it or make it work for you. My ask for you is to take the information I'm about to lay out and start to evaluate your lifestyle today. What can you do to save more to increase the savings rate? And what can you do to earn more to increase that savings rate? Getting mad about it, get angry about it is not going to change the situation. But learning to earn, adding value, you will change the situation. Investopedia has historical U.S. inflation rate from 1929 to 2024. They have a nice table here. The inflation rate as well as the federal rate fund, and the different events affecting inflation. If you see historical inflation rate, some years are higher and some years are better than the previous year. But fast forward to our recent years, you see what inflation rate has been over the last decades and how inflation rate is calculated is based on consumer price index, and they are under these major categories and the weights put into different categories. Without going into the nitty and gritty detail, I'm just going to show you the calculation of your hourly wage. So for me, from 1998 through 2008, I was an hourly production employee. My max pay then was $17, and I forgot what the exact change was. But let's round it down to 17. In 2008 or 2007, it doesn't matter which year. I didn't get a raise for a while. So let's make it 2006. So $17 then is equivalent to $26 today. And if 14 years ago, if your hourly pay was, I don't know, $14, that's equivalent $19 today. You can use this calculator by Smart Asset and kind of see for the last 10, 12 years, are your increases exceeding the inflation? Unfortunately, for some of you, it may not. And for some of you, it may exceed inflation depending on how much promotion you have, how good was your merit increases over the years. Outside of taxes and death, inflation is almost guaranteed to be part of our life until death. So we have to be ready for it. Our chairman of Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, already talked targeting 2% inflation rate. Why the 2%? Because it's small enough that we don't feel the pain over time. This is why it's important for you to not take merit increase as an extra money for you to spend. Think of merit increase as a way for you to stash away to combat the inflation that is coming every year. If you live comfortable now prior to your merit increase, my suggestion to you is start stashing that in a savings account, start putting that into more retirement account, or start putting more into brokerage account. For some of you, the bold statement I just made, merit increase is simply a cost of living increase, is not news to you. And some of you might be news to you. What I would like you to do for this information is to evaluate your cost of living over 2024 and ask yourself, if you have a family, ask your significant others as well, how was your 2024 lifestyle? Were you guys comfortable? Or were you guys barely making ends meet? Or were you guys below water? If you lived a comfortable life and you were doing okay, my ask for you would be to start thinking about the extra merit increase that you receive. Start putting that away into extra retirement account, or put that away into brokerage account, or put that into a high yield saving account. The key to having financial freedom is not how much you make, it's how much you keep. It is that savings rate. If you're in a situation where you can put away more than 10 to 15%, do it now. Don't wait. Why say more than the recommended 10 to 15%? Well, according to the shockingly simple math behind early retirement by Mr. Money Mustache, he laid out a nice graph here. If you save 10% of your income, it would take you 50 years to retire. Ask yourself this question: is this something that you want to do for the next decades? If the answer is no, then you need to increase the savings rate. If the answer is yes, then don't change anything. Keep doing what you're doing. If you look at the graph, the more savings rate you have, the shorter time it takes to retire. If you save 64% of your income, it only takes you 11 years when you're ready to retire, or at least have the option, the choice to retire. You may not even retire. You may choose to do something that you are passionate about. You may want to do some philanthropy work. You may want to do something that had more meaning, more purpose for you. If you're in a situation where you cannot do it, figure out a way to earn more income, because that is the way to be able to have the freedom to choose where to work, when to retire, when to pursue your passion and purpose. Where work is not have to, but get to.